Liverpool Fan in Japan.
Hello YouTube, Liverpool Fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki Man Si. With the big top of the table clash with Arsenal on the horizon, I thought I'd give you a new exciting type of pre-match analysis. So we'll get into it very soon. But we've seen in the news today, Bukayo Saka, Calafiori, Saliba Timber, or missed a morning training session for Arsenal. Is it mind games? Are they legitimately out injured? A hamstring is tough to overcome, but Saka always starts regardless of injuries. Calafiori's had injury doubts as well for his whole career. Knee issues, that's going to be hard to shake off. And Timber hasn't played since the start of the month, right? Against PSG. So, a lot of optimism there. But we'll look into how Arsenal are likely to line up and their tactical setup, the tactical ploy, and where they can exploit or hope to exploit Liverpool at home at Emirates Stadium, as well as potential holes in the Arsenal tactical plan of attack and where Liverpool can hope to damage them as well at the Emirates. And we'll get into that very shortly. But before we do, I'm going to introduce a round here called Rapid Roundup, the summary of the key figures in this head-to-head. And this idea was actually proposed by one of Liverpool Fan in Japan's top YouTube members, Kim. Now, we've got so many quality people here. This is a channel of substance and abundance, and we're growing the best international Liverpool community by far. I reply to each one of you absolutely individually, from myself to yourselves. It's not a one-word answer. I recognize every single member and every single person who comments, right? Aleem, Divinash, Kobin, Herbie Productions, Yuri, Jamie, Jono, Debs, Kay, Jeremy, Daffilo, Exery, the list goes on and on. I'm not intending to leave out any of you. It's just a video to go on and on if I wheel off absolutely everyone from memory who comments, because I recognize each and every one of you, your quirks, your style of comments, your replies, and who likes to interact on Discord as well. So once again, please do comment and join in the conversation, the interaction. We go live, we chat along on the Discord for other matches as well, and we have community events. So all you new watchers out there, smash the subscribe button, join our community, get involved, and your boy Sai will chat to you very soon. Faisal, John, Jeff, Keith, Eugene, Lim, Red for Life, Brown Star, Red Eye, Elusive Glue, Mike 1, 2, 3, all of you Mikes. I'm not missing anyone out, guys. I do want to reel off the names, but let's get into the next part, okay? Pre-match analysis. Alrighty, so we're going to have to look at the potential match winners on both sides. Liverpool versus Arsenal head-to-head. Who is the biggest potential match winner in this particular fixture, considering what the tactics will be from Arne Slot, what the tactics will be from Mikel Arteta, considering the Emirates Stadium, considering current form and the way that they play as well. I think in Liverpool's side, it looks like Diogo Jota won't be making this match. Arne Slot more or less confirmed in the press conference, unless he's playing mind games, but he is brutally honest, as we discussed in the last video as well. That means Darwin Núñez will lead the charge. We've got the Egyptian King on the right wing. Lucho Diaz probably starts this match as well. A bit of a gamble in midfield. Will Curtis Jones retain his place? He didn't start in midweek in the Champions League. Maka, if he gets nutted in the balls, then he'll be on fire, penetrating their back line for sure. I think the defence has some game winners as well. Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Will he deliver a peach of a ball or score a cracking free kick as well? So many match winners, and I'm just talking about the Liverpool side now. On the Liverpool side, I think we give it to Mo Salah. Why? He's probably going to be against Alexander Zinchenko. He had Zinchenko on toast last season, cut inside. He didn't have the agility or the reaction or the muscle timing to time Mo Salah's cut inside, and he finished an absolute rocket into the top corner. Mo Salah turns up for the big occasions. He loves scoring against Arsenal. He loves scoring against the top 6. He loves scoring against the top 4. He's a metric goal king. He really is there to break all records, and he'll be completely up for us. He'll know what this means, right? It's a top table clash, potentially 6-point swing, 3 points to you, and take away 3 points from the opposition, and take away one important game off their fixture list where they play at home against their biggest rivals, Liverpool and Man City, I guess, one day. Look, if we beat Arsenal at Emirates, they're more or less going to be ruled out of the title race by default, unless there's an epic kind of, not swindle, but an epic slide of form from Arne Slot's men. And it looks like there is no slide incoming or inbound anytime soon. So Mo Salah to score a goal or an assist, a peach from an assist as well, a Trivela pass, a slide raw ball all the way to Lucho Diaz on the other side, sliding Darwin Núñez in, thanks for the double against Newcastle, for example. Mo Salah is the match winner on the Liverpool side. Now, what about Arsenal? Leandro Trossard, a wild card. Martinelli getting in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. But we're going to go into tactics in just a bit, but it looks as though Trent is playing from a deeper position, only traversing into the midfield, the right position on half space, not necessarily offensive, bombing up and down, going up and down the wing, no free roll to go into the quarterback position or inverting into the center of the pitch to dominate from there. He's a traditional right back, and it's fun to see. I think because he starts deeper, Martinelli won't have as much space to exploit on the counter-attack. Where do Arsenal look to hurt Liverpool now? Kai Havertz playing in between the lines, a kind of false nine, top of the diamond, what Diogo Jota was doing. He has a penchant for running in behind as well, but he hasn't got the pace, he hasn't got the physicality, but he's got technique. Now, Gabriel Jesus as well, running the diagonals, he can run diagonally across a Van Dijk, across a Konate, and try to get a shot off. More likely he'll go into Van Dijk's channel because he's right-footed to try to hit one in, but Kelleher won't be beaten near post by a Gabriel Jesus shot. And he's a 1 in 10 striker, he isn't a clinical striker either. So where is the potential threat from Arsenal? I think you look at Gabriel Magalhaes, right? Because he seems to be a real big threat from set pieces. Now, in the absence of William Saliba, and they didn't appeal the red card because, yeah, it would have been folly anyway, right? They reviewed it and the red card stood. Gabriel seems to be breaking the deadlock and scoring crucial goals for them. And defensively as well, he is their best centre-back. I guess unless you put Ben White in the middle, it could be Kiwior as well. Tomiyasu is still out, but he plays at fullback position. They won't put Partey or Rice back there. So Gabriel will be their key man to try to nullify Darwin Núñez and keep out our attack, try to cover the wide forwards going in as well, try to block a shot. And he's their most offensive threat from a set piece as well. So Gabriel is the potential match winner for Arsenal. Now you look at key attackers, okay? You look at key attackers, and we've already put Mo Salah down as a potential match winner. But in these kind of tight games, you need someone to break the deadlock. The first goal is more important than any other goal because it changes the trajectory of the game, changes the narrative of the game and what each side is looking to do. Retaining the lead, a second goal more or less kills off the game, completely stops opposition momentum and comeback. The first goal is very important. It's very hard to break the deadlock because a lot of teams play with a solid base, solid foundation, men behind the ball, trying to keep that clean sheet. That's why clean sheets are so important in winning the Premier League, winning titles, winning anything really. Clean sheet. Key attacker. We've talked about Mo Salah, but Lucho Diaz has shown a really good prominence for breaking the deadlock, scoring the first goal, getting the right position, and especially this season where he's not having to cut inside, dribble past a man, starting from a wider position and having to take the ball with him on a longer length before the shot. He's working his way into the penalty areas, into the periphery of the goal, the perpendicular of the goalpost as well. Shooting from that position gives him the angles to rocket one in, to have a bit more pace and have a bit more margin for error. He doesn't have to blast it or curl it to perfection. He can just slot it away. And with Mo Salah delivering from the right-hand side, with Trent Alexander-Arnold delivering from the right-hand side, Szoboszlai ability to deliver from the right, but we haven't seen it as much. McAllister probably operating in the right half side as well. Lucho Diaz could open the scoring, and I think he'll be one of the key attackers to give us the X factor, the wild card. He's unstoppable when he builds up a head of steam to dribble. Lucho Diaz, key attacker on Liverpool's side for breaking the deadlock. Now, I wanted to say Darwin Núñez, but you just don't know. It's not his inconsistency, but a role that Arne Slot is expecting of him, because Szoboszlai is leading the press, but when Darwin Núñez is on, he's got the intensity in the sprint to lead the press as well. So he may be in too many random variable positions to be a consistent threat, but he will have a big part to play in this game. We'll go into that in tactics as well. Key attacker, Lucho Diaz on the left. For Arsenal, in the absence of Bukayo Saka, because Bukayo Saka could very well start. Havertz will probably start at the top. Gabriel Jesus could start as well. It could be Trossard in place of Bukayo Saka. Raheem Sterling, but he's not going to be the key attacker. He'll be a extra off-the-ball runner and a dummy runner, and he'll utilise his pace to stretch Liverpool's back line, or at least try to. It's got to be Martinelli for the same reasons as Lucho Diaz, right? Martinelli is a wild card. He's pacey. He's a 1 in 4, 1 in 5. He's got a cracking shot, cutting side on the left wing, onto that right foot as well. Martinelli is probably their best hopes for a direct route to goal to get in behind a Konate or Van Dijk. But Van Dijk and Konate have the pace to match up against him, so he's looking for that spilled ball to get in and slot it. Hopefully it's one of those days for Callum Hudson-Odoi type style, where the ball drops nicely and he brings out one of his top finishes and brings it in. He has the pace, he has the trickery and the consistency, and that's what they want to do. As we want to pen Mo Salah up against Zinchenko, they want to pen up Martinelli against Trent Alexander-Arnold. But Trent will be starting deeper, so he won't get as much joy as in the past, right? So Martinelli on their side. Midfield maestro. Okay, so on the Liverpool side, there's quite a few selection options here. Curtis Jones showed his ability to rotate in the midfield transitions and hold the ball up in any given position, pass the ball, and especially be a late ball runner. He is the best in our midfield at the late ball run into the box, unseen, unmarked, not offside, getting in there. He deserves to start on merit, but it's going to be in place of Szoboszlai or McAllister because Gravenberch is almost undroppable. Now McAllister, a little tempo maestro in the middle, can play 10, can play 6, can play 8. He's a facilitator in midfield. He makes everyone else play better and smoother, and he's got a bite in the challenge as well, and he doesn't shirk his defensive duties. But Szoboszlai has been favoured by Arne Slot for leading the press, intense sprints and presses to force the opposition to act, to move the ball. And he gets back responsibly as well. And he covers for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is the defensive 10 in the way that Dirk Kuyt was a defensive right wing forward who nullified Ashley Cole. So when Dominic Szoboszlai plays, you're going to be trying to nullify the passing lanes of a Jorginho or the long ball of Partey, or trying to worm his way out of trouble, right? Or Declan Rice moving the ball, but he plays a more of a simple game. So even though you press him, he'll probably just lay it off short, for example. The one consistent pick that we know will play will be Gravenberch in the 6. Now, Wataru Endo played amazing in the 6 last season in congested midfield and battled for days and was one of the outstanding midfielders in that match alongside McAllister. Them two won us the midfield, or at least was on even par with Arsenal's 100 million Declan Rice, right? And Partey, class defensive midfielder, and Jorginho, who's a great baller, great passer. Jorginho more or less played the 6, so Rice played the 8. Gravenberch is the constant in our 6. He can turn their man and he can beat their press. Now, Arsenal these days play very, very deep. I don't know why the media and pundits don't recognise that Arsenal is such a defensive team these days. They make the midfield and defensive line play as a unit, as a block, and rely on transition to a false 9 or a connection player like Odegaard, who's out for them, or Havertz to connect the play into a Martinelli or Bukayo Saka, right, with dummy runners to allow them inside to shoot. Very much on the transition, what a Jurgen Klopp 4-3-3 looks like. But Gravenberch is the key midfield maestro for Liverpool because he's going to get a lot of the ball. He will be pressed hard, but he will have to retain the ball, always be an outlet, be an option, help progress the ball forward with passes, but especially with his dynamite turn, physicality, and ability to beat the man through sheer dribbling and techers. So midfield maestro on Liverpool's side will be Gravenberch. Maestro, you can't really associate Maestro with Declan Rice, even though he does an important job. Leandro Trossard probably would play on a wing, not as a 10. Odegaard is their Maestro, but the one who probably pulled the strings, right, and the one that they need to progress the ball will probably be Jorginho. I think Jorginho, of the bunch in Arsenal's midfield, is the one to connect from back to forward and give him a bit of composure, a bit of experience, a bit of leadership in terms of ball dominance, right? Classy Italian player. You can tell why Man City wanted him as well, why he plays a lot for Italy. Jorginho will be their midfield maestro, and he will need to pull the strings and dictate the play because he's up against a class midfield in Liverpool's operators as well. But then again, Arsenal midfield is very good at containment. They play deep. Jorginho, Partey, time to party, and Rice are very, very solid in midfield. So it'll be an interesting battle. Whoever wins the midfield will have the better of the chances. And it's about the forwards to finishing it off. Key defender, we talked about Gabriel already, right? Zinchenko will invert into the middle, give him an extra body in midfield as well, but he's got to be on the lookout for Mo Salah on the inside, and Trent may overlap in this game as well, but he'll probably be deeper to cover the threat of a Martinelli. So key defender from Liverpool side, we know Van Dijk is a key defender, but Konate's front-footed defending, right? Front-footed defending is going to be super, super important because when Havertz gets the ball, you can't let him play effectively with back to goal, hold up the ball, play players in, advance to midfield. Where Havertz roams, Konate has to crunch him. When Martinelli gets inevitably in behind Trent once or twice, or when Trent channels him out wide and he beats him for pace on the outside and the ball is going to be delivered, Konate has to block the lines of the passing and the crossing into the forward line. Therefore, Konate is the key defender in this match, even though Van Dijk is just as key, but Konate's got a harder job to do because he's the front-footed of the two. Van Dijk's more of a sweeper defender, more of a libero. And Konate will have to cover for Trent as well against Martinelli. And Gabriel Jesus, if he plays, operates on that left channel as well. Key defender on the Arsenal side, once again, it more or less is Gabriel, will be Kewell starting, right? But Ben White will definitely play. alongside Gabriel. And Ben White is a mark of consistency. He would have been fantastic for the England team, except obviously he had a falling out with Gareth Southgate's backroom staff. But Ben White is pretty calm, pretty composed, isn't easily flustered. And I think of the lot, he is the one that has to be defensively solid, get the body in the line where it hurts, show his bravery and show his kind of composure as well, playing out from the back. And he has the ability and skills to do that, right? And he's going to be against Lucho Diaz. If Ben White has a good game against Lucho Diaz, one of our wild cards, one of our X factors, one of our most consistent, reliable ways of opening scoring is nullified. And therefore, Ben White is the key defender on their side. Who will be man of the match ultimately? Graven Birch is stacking them up, isn't he? Konate wants to win it. Van Dijk is a threat at set pieces and defensive clearances as well. I hope it's not Kelleher. Well, actually, if it is Kelleher, that's good for us as well, because could mean a clean sheet, but it means they've peppered our goal. Graven Birch is hard to look past him, but it's also hard to look past Mo Salah, because he's probably going to be the game winner. He decides these top of the table clashes, right? Graven Birch, I think, will have a fantastic performance as well. And I think Lucho Diaz could turn it on, but he's a gamble in terms of Lucho Diaz turning it on any given match. Mo Salah against Zinchenko or Kawia at left back. Got to give it to Mo Salah or Graven Birch. It's tough. It's a toss-up. I think Mo Salah will show why he deserves that new contract. I'll put Mo Salah as potential man of the match. And David Raya on Arsenal match. Will his goal get peppered as well? Declan Rice will have a huge body of work to do, as will Thomas Partey. Can their goal scorers win it? I don't think the goal scorers will win it on the Arsenal side. They've got too many missing players, right? Especially with Odegaard out, connecting back to front isn't the easiest of jobs. Declan Rice could have a mammoth match, but he doesn't usually win the man of the matches that regularly. Gabriel is a threat on both ends as well. Raya, it seems like that type of match where Liverpool will have a lot of shots on target, even though they've got that defensive block. It might be from long range, it might be speculative, it might be pot shots. David Raya, I expect to have a busier evening than Kelleher in the Arsenal goal. It's a risky choice, but also Jorginho pulling the strings. That's another interesting one to ponder. Really, it's between the consistency of a Gabriel, Ben White, Raya or Jorginho. I think Raya probably, if Arsenal get something out of this, will be man of the match on their side. So I'm going with Raya. Score prediction, finally, on this particular one. I think Arsenal have a chance. They are missing some key players, or at least their players aren't 100% fit. But you've got to recognise as well, Liverpool also, for Alisson Becker out, the best goalkeeper in the world, Conor Bradley, right, could have played this one. He's matched up well against Martinelli, not particularly the last game, but in general, he's matched up well. Diogo Jota's a slotter, loves slotting one away against Arsenal. He's going to be a big miss as well. And Chiesa, our plan B, a firecracker option from the bench, probably isn't in with a chance as well, right? So I'm going to go, because it's away at the Emirates, they are always likely to score a goal. They're a fantastic team. They score against nearly everybody. They nearly score against everybody. I hope they get a red card, by the way. 2-1 seems a sensible score to me. I'm going to go with 2-1. I haven't put score predictors here, but I think Mo Salah will get at least one. So 2-1 is my score prediction to the Reds. Up the shiny one. Tactical brilliance, substance in abundance. I think Arne Slot will lead us to victory at the Emirates 2-1. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this particular segment. If you have, please hit the like button. It really helps get this video seen. Thank you so much to everyone watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of content coming up. This is the pre-match analysis. And now I'm going to get onto the board, the lineup for the respective teams and what I predict. Just before we get into the lineups, I want to say a sincere thank you to all of the Liverpool Fan in Japan members. You keep this channel afloat, you keep me motivated, and you keep Mamacita Miyazaki Mai going as well, making exclusive translations of the Wataru Endo vlog, Wataru Endo book, Jewel as well as Kaoru Mitoma, Ritsu Dewan, and all the other books. Even got Ibrahimovic and Paul Merson for entertainment as well as my in-depth thoughts on Redmen TV, Anfield Agenda, Boovie, Adam McCullough, all of the lads in the content creation game. I'm going to give you my exclusive, uncensored, unfiltered thoughts on all of them. So if you can, please consider joining the membership. It's the best way to support the channel. It's cheaper than a cheeseburger at Mackie D's, so why not? If you can't, that's completely fine. Smash a like on the video. I appreciate it anyway. So let's get into the lineup. Alrighty, so I won't keep you in suspense for too long. There's some guaranteed names going straight in here, I believe. Not much suspense because I reckon a lot of these pick themselves. So Trent has been playing through some pain, some injury, but you know, he'll do the job. He's a Scou's heartbeat. Robertson will probably come in for his leadership. That's why Kostas Tsimikas started in midweek and got his man of the match, by the way. Congratulations. This, the deeper of the two, will be Gravenberch. Now, a few choices to be made here. We're going to pen the names that we know for sure will start now. In the absence of Diogo Jota, it will be Darwin Núñez, sure faith up front as well. Left wing, Gakpo starting against Milan. Lucho Diaz comes in, the key part of the plan. Gakpo, there is a possibility Gakpo start, but I don't think it's likely. Curtis Jones, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai has been leading the press, an important component, the legs in midfield. Arne Slot talks about the legs again, excuse me, again and again, but Curtis Jones played amazing against Chelsea. That deep running ability, right? I think Arsenal are defensively more solid in midfield, especially in the sixth position to cover the runs of a Jones. I think Arne Slot's words around Maka is a no-brainer to start Maka. They're your show of faith. Maka, the intelligent shadow, the big game player, the World Cup winner, and Szoboszlai. I think you go to tried and tested. Unlucky for Jones, but his time will come. But I think that's what you start with right there. Classic ploy and play. Salah in half space. Núñez are running amok, running the channels. Szoboszlai leading from the front. We always do a staggered press, so always be something like that. Alternatively, it could interchange as well. So Szoboszlai could be leading the press, and Diaz could be in the half space position, which means Gravenberch is roaming in the middle, roaming into the Mazzala, supporting Salah with Trent covering the right half space as well. There isn't even a player called Trella. Christian Teo was a good player. Free at the back, because that's how it inverts to. Maka and Gravenberch picking up the pieces. Trent having a free roll in and around this position because Salah holds the wide space. Trent pivots into there as well. Almost becomes a box that allows you to shoot or roam around here. The main reason why Szoboszlai and Diaz, Szoboszlai and Maka and Robbo operate on the left-hand side is because Gravenberch, traversing, bypassing their midfield on the turn, has space to exploit. Because when you overload the bodies in this position, Arsenal have to track and defend, which means there will be a gap here if Gravenberch beats his man one-on-one, for example. Salah in half-space position is game-win condition, and if we can pick up Salah in this position, Núñez goes to P spot, Szoboszlai anything that rebounds, Diaz on the back post, Robertson for anything that's hit out of bounds, up and over as well. You're going to look to hit peripherals, diagonals. Maybe Núñez makes the dummy run and Diaz comes onto it, shoots first time, would be nice, or smash it into the front post as well. Ideal situation, Gravenberch comes in here, but there's a world where Szoboszlai and Gravenberch are the holders, and therefore Maka goes in 10 position. Even more fun because Maka between the lines is our best through ball maestro, best playmaker, and best long shooter out of the bunch, which is surprising considering Szoboszlai has a fantastic shot as well. Lucho Diaz will be looking to cut inside, but on occasion as well, he has shown a penchant for going around the outside, and Robertson cut into half position, but Robertson isn't the most use in this position. He's much better on the pullback for a cross into a Núñez in this position. Salah waiting outside, Trent waiting outside. Alternatively, Salah on the width, Trent, Maka, or Trent and Szoboszlai as the 10s in that position. And you press high up as well. Konate matching Martinelli on the counter, keep it tight in the middle, and Van Dijk sweeping in behind as well, but Robertson is usually the utility third centre back. So it's a classic play style. The lateral passes will be available, and if it is lateral passing, then Salah has to stay out wide or he's the extra forward, because the lateral passes will end up with Trent having a long shot or a crossing opportunity, or Szoboszlai in that position as well. We usually laterally pass from left to right, because when we laterally pass from right to left, it ends up at Robertson, and Robertson isn't the ideal person. Tsimikas would be better as the final man here apart from Robertson, and Diaz wouldn't be collecting it here because otherwise he's going into the midfield position to open the play up, either pass out wide to Salah, for example, or pass out into Núñez in between a fullback and central defender. So that's pretty much Liverpool's game in a nutshell. Let's get on to Arsenal now, and this will be interesting. What will Arsenal try to do to break this back line? As always, they're going to position Martinelli high in the pocket behind Trent and behind our right-hand side. On the left-hand side, it could be Leandro Trossard. Now, he's not the paciest, but he's tricky between the lines. You could have Trossard playing with Havertz in dual kind of 10 pivots to try to move us around. If Gabriel Jesus is on, he's going to be pulling the lines, as will Raheem Sterling as well. So let's look up how Arsenal will line up now. So we know some names that come in as definites. Gabriel. White. Now White could start as a partner with Gabriel, a centre-back. In that case, one of the youngsters goes to right back, or even Thomas Partey plays as utility right back. But I think they go with experience in the biggest head-to-head match. They don't throw a youngster in. So usually they go with this kind of play, okay? Now, Partey and Rice will be pressers. They'll be roaming destroyers like a Mascherano. Mascherano never played in the sixth position because that's Alonso's position as the pivot, as the person who receives the ball back to goal and plays from there. Bukayo Saka, I think, makes it. They're going to risk it for a biscuit. In the top match, you need your top tier players, and he is possibly their best player alongside Odegaard, right? Left wing, Martinelli. Now, potentially, Sterling. Martinelli. Potentially, Sterling could be here if Saka doesn't make it. Sterling could be on the right-hand side, or could be Trossard here as well. Leandro Trossard could make it as well. Striking up front, Kai Havertz, false 9, trying to bring... Because there's not much point in playing a pacey striker, especially Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus can run alongside Van Dijk, right? Van Dijk in this position, run alongside him and try to smash it. But it's hit and hope. Now, it might fly in the top corner. But Keller has a good shot stop anyway. So what they're going to do is they're going to probably play with dual 10s, right? Dual kind of 10s in a line and wait until they can get the ball in and behind a centre-back and a full-back, or build on the laterals until they can hit a Martinelli out wide and try to isolate against Trent Alexander-Arnold. They'll play in front of Liverpool. They'll most likely play in front of Liverpool and try to overload the sixth position, see if they can turn over Gravenberch, see if they can turn over Makadeep, or dispossess Szoboszlai in and around the sixth positions. Jorginho will be pulling the strings. As I mentioned, Rice and Partey are roaming destroyers, with Havertz forming the diamond. On occasion, you might even see this kind of formation, right? A 4-4-2 diamond, congested and tight, forcing Liverpool down the whips, because Arsenal are primarily very, very defensive. Who comes in this position here and who comes in this position here? Kiwior could play either role. Another alternative is Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka was a former left back, but I think it'll be Zinchenko for the fact that he can also Zinchenko. He can form that three-man defensive line here, which means this defender, who's also a good wide defender, is Kiwior, because he can play left back as well, right? They're gonna try to keep it tight. There's such a menace when they blockade the goal, right? Man City barely got through in the dying embers of the game. And they can look to do that. They can look to play off Havertz as a point man, and off you go, hold up, catch and play out wide into Saka into space against Robertson. Robertson is experienced enough to cover him. There could be a world where Joe Gomez comes in, right? But it's unlikely to bring Gomez out of the blue, considering that Arne Slot has his preferred backline and kind of preferred midfield and preferred forward line. You know what you get out of him. It's about tactics instead of personnel with Arne Slot. But the thing is, Arsenal are very, very difficult to break through. And we know that Mo Salah will try to pin Zinchenko in. So when you have this covering Mo Salah's zone of influence, which is this kind of area here, it's going to be very, very hard to play through. They're going to leave the free forwards, whether it's Trossard for Saka, Sterling for Saka, whether Gabriel Jesus comes in as well. He's a good presser. He presses off the ball as well. This will be Rice's zone of influence. He'll play the laterals across. Havertz will be point man trying to connect things through. And Martinelli will be point man to strike and get in behind as well, with Saka in the half space. Saka does not really act as a traditional winger. White will hold up high as well. Partey will back up as well. Jorginho for the recycle. Zinchenko pivoting into midfield. Kawia being intelligent shadow to Zinchenko to back up Salah, and Gabriel marshalling like Van Dijk does in and around back. This is usually Saliba, but Gabriel will have to do that job because he won't be progressing the play, because I don't think that line can hold against a counter-attack against, say, Luis Diaz and a Darwin Núñez. Now, Darwin Núñez could be the game breaker here, because you cover Zinchenko, Kiwior, cover Salah. Who's going to be the one to cover Trent, or a diagonal run from Núñez? Or if Núñez goes out wide this side, right, and he's pacey, White and Partey are not catching Núñez. Gabriel will have to sweep, right? Gabriel will have to sweep. If Núñez goes out wide here, that means Lucho Diaz is operating in half space. Lucho Diaz on this diagonal is a huge threat, which is why I think Lucho Diaz will open the scoring as well. So lots of options for Liverpool. This is how I think they will line up. If Saka's not fit, it's probably going to be Leandro Trossard, but it could be Raheem Sterling as well. I don't think Gabriel Jesus starts because of Havertz's influence, but if Gabriel Jesus does start, it'll be in place of Martinelli on the left. It won't be as a central striker because Arteta will definitely play his point man in the 10 position as a false 9 position, with Rice roaming the lines in between there to cover as a cover player, and Partey and Rice as roaming destroyers, with Jorginho pulling the strings. That is what I believe Arsenal will line up with. Now I'm going to introduce you to the final new prepped graphic for this tactical analysis. Now this is going to be a fun one. Defensive dynamics, right? Defenses win leagues, and both teams are solid defensively. Liverpool are top of the pops in terms of defense. I think we've only conceded 3 so far, right? Let's rapidly go through this. Goalkeepers. I think Kelleher actually has a bigger ceiling than David Raya. David Raya is established. He's number 1 for Arsenal. Kicked out Ramsdale, for example. But in this particular matchup, I think it's almost dead even. Distribution, Kelleher wins it on distribution. In terms of shot stopping, they're pretty even in terms of vocal commanding the back line, composure. I think they're neck and neck, to be honest. They're both decent, but I would prefer Kelleher. But I can see why other people would prefer Raya. Okay, so I give a B to both of these goalkeepers in terms of aerial power of the defense, catching high balls as a goalkeeper, headed clearances, headed goals. You give it to Liverpool because Van Dijk and Konate, absolute units in the air. Robertson is not bad. Gabriel also scores a lot for Arsenal. Ben White doesn't actually score that many defensively. He's okay. Kiwior, Zinchenko is definitely not an aerial threat. So I think you give an S to Liverpool and you give a B to Arsenal. Set piece threat. We talked about this already, right? Van Dijk is a threat. Gabriel is a threat. Van Dijk is more of a threat than Gabriel, and Konate as a secondary threat is more than Ben White, for example. So I give a A to Liverpool and a B to Arsenal. Possession recovery. How easy is it to turn over the ball? How well did they act as a unit? Arsenal have so many defensive leaders. Jorginho, Partey, and Rice combined with that back line. But that back line isn't as good in the tackle, defensively solid, as Liverpool's backline, and we have our first choice backline, whereas they don't. So possession recovery, I think Liverpool as a unit in the press and in the containment zones and the trap are better than Arsenal in the press. So I would give Liverpool an A and I give Arsenal a B, mainly because it's not Arsenal's preferred backline. If it's a preferred backline, I give them an A as well. But playing out from the back, okay, this is where it slightly gets tricky because Ben White is very technically able, great techers. Gabriel can bring the ball out as well. He's quite good at that. But so is Konate and Van Dijk. But the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool playing out from the back is Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's just clear as day, right? Zinchenko, obviously a former midfielder, is a midfielder for Ukraine, for example, can play the ball out from the back, but Kiwior would be a weak link, right? And yeah, I just, it's incomparable when you have Trent Alexander-Arnold in the back line. It's just so Van Dijk pinging the ball left to right, Trent pinging the ball anywhere. What can you say? It's an S for Liverpool, an A for Arsenal, okay? So that's a nice little graphic right there. But on quick second thought, I'm going to bump up Arsenal's possession recovery from a B to an A because, my goodness, there's so many defensive players in that team as well, right? I was only thinking the back four, but yeah, no, be fair to them, they do win back possession because when you got Partey, Rice and Jorginho in front of your back four, you know, there's a lot of potential ball winning. If they had Saliba, they might even go up to an S, right? But they don't have Saliba. And they're missing Tomiyasu, for example, defensive stalwart as well. So yeah, we'll bump them up to an A just to be fair. But the things are looking good. Omen's looking good. And speaking of looking good, that was a great tactical analysis, right? That was a episode with substance and abundance. Miyazaki Man Ichiban means the best. That means I've got to reward myself a piece of kit, and I got one right here. So I'm gonna hulk this up because this is a taped up box. Mercari Japan secondhand goods. Getting cold. This looks like a potential windbreaker or... Oh, it's gold. Lately, I'm getting a lot of black and gold. It's a Liverpool FC. I'm getting a lot of gold, black and gold lately. That's nice. Okay, 5 stars. So it's not... It must be prior to winning the six times. It's like a rain jacket, isn't it? I'm loving that gold. I'm loving that gold. It's Reebok. That's proper old school. Wait a minute, that's really old school. Tim, my man. In case I didn't mention you already, of course, I love my Tim J. Where's this from? It's Reebok. Is this Fowler McManaman era? Was that before that? This is Barnsley? Keegan and Rush Dalglish? Where was Reebok? I'm sure it's the Spice Boys, right? Anyway, looking good. Thank you so much for joining me in this tactical analysis. Hope it was useful. Let me know your thoughts below on the lineups, on the ratings, on the formats, on the changes. Any suggestions, I'm open to all ears. I really accept all feedback, whether it's positive feedback, constructive criticism, whatever you want to say, I'm all ears. Thank you so much for watching. So make sure you smash a like if you haven't already. Miyazaki Man means the best. Jane, ciao. Have a great day, everyone. I will be doing a live stream over the weekend. Look out for that one as well. Make sure you subscribe to that one. I will be announcing the winners of the giveaways of this shirt. Not the Ato one, because that's my boy, Mushroom Boy Ato, but a similar replica one, the stadium one as well. Have a great day, everyone. I love you guys. Sincerely. Peace. Hit my music.
Liverpool fan in Japan.